Welcome to Thrust and Pressure. Let us try to understand what is thrust. Several forces may act on a body. They may act in different directions. Or they may act at different angles. But some forces act perpendicular to the surface. Force acting perpendicular over a surface is called thrust. So, how do we compare force and thrust? While any force can be referred to as force, only perpendicular force acting on a surface is referred to as thrust. We know that the unit of force is Newton. Thrust being a force, its unit is also Newton. Observe this army tank. Have you observed that army tank moves on chains? Everybody has seen a kitchen knife. It is a cutting tool. Have you observed that cutting tools have extremely sharp edges? Have you wondered why? Have you wondered why tanks move on chains and cutting tools have extremely sharp edges? Let us analyze. Imagine a tank on wheels. This is what would happen. Imagine cutting something with a blunt-edged knife. This would be your experience. What are we achieving by moving army tanks on chains? This is a diagrammatic representation of an army tank having wheels. The wheels are in contact with the ground. Look at the area of contact. The wheels being circular touch the ground at only one point. Hence, the area of contact with the ground is extremely small. Now look at the area of contact when the wheels are covered with a chain. Now the area of contact of the chain with the ground is much more. So by covering the wheels with chains, we have increased the area of contact. Look at these two knives. One is a sharp-edged knife and the other is a dull knife. The sharp-edged knife has extremely small contact area, whereas the blunt-edged knife has more contact area. By increasing or decreasing the area of contact, we are decreasing or increasing the thrust applied per unit area. Take care, by increasing the area, we decrease the thrust applied per unit area, and by decreasing the area of contact, we are increasing the thrust per unit area. So, by decreasing or increasing the thrust applied per unit area, we can change the effect that the same thrust can produce. Now let us see the reason of using chains for army tanks and sharp-edged knives in kitchen. By increasing the surface area in an army tank, the effect of thrust, that is its own weight, is reduced and the tank doesn't sink into marshy lands. By decreasing the surface area in a knife, the effect of thrust is increased and the knife cuts through food easily. So let us study the relation between thrust and area of contact. Thrust acting per unit area is pressure. So we get pressure is equal to thrust upon area. So you see, pressure and area are inversely proportional. If the thrust is kept the same, more area would mean less pressure and less area would mean more pressure. The unit of thrust is Newton and that of area is meter square. Hence, the unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. The unit for pressure is also Pascal. 1 Pascal is 1 Newton upon 1 meter square. So, pressure is said to be 1 Pascal when a thrust of 1 Newton acts over an area of 1 meter square. Remember, pressure is a scalar quantity. There are several other units for measuring pressure. Pressure is also measured in centimeters of mercury. 1 centimeter of mercury is equivalent to 1.33 into 10 raised to the power 3 Pascal. One more unit for pressure is bar. 1 bar is 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. 760 millimeter or 76 centimeter of mercury at 0 degree Celsius or 101325 Pascal or 101 kilopascal or 1 atmosphere is considered as standard pressure. This is some additional information. So, is there a difference between force and pressure? We know force is a push or a pull that accelerates or deforms the body on which it acts, while pressure is the force acting normally per unit area. Force acting normally is also called thrust. Force is a vector quantity while pressure is a scalar quantity. Unit of force is Newton while unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. Now, can you explain these examples of pressure? It is easier to walk on soft ground if we have flat shoes rather than shoes with high heels. Remember, if we increase the surface area, then the pressure decreases. Shoulder bags are provided with wide straps. Again remember, if we increase the surface area, then the pressure decreases. Can you explain these examples? Tractors have broad tires. Tip of a needle is extremely sharp. Let us recall. Perpendicular force is called thrust Thrust per unit area is called pressure. Pressure is equal to thrust upon area. Thus pressure and area are inversely related. This is the reason why army tanks move on chains. By putting chains, we increase the area of contact and thus pressure decreases. On the other hand, cutting tools have sharp edges to decrease the area of contact. This in turn increases the pressure. The unit of pressure is Newton per meter square or Pascal. Pressure is a scalar quantity. Its other units are centimeters of mercury, bar or atmosphere. 76 centimeter of mercury at 0 degrees Celsius or atmosphere is considered as standard pressure. Thank you.